Hi, boys and girls. My name is Mrs. Lee, and I'll be reading Dr. Seuss's ABC. Big A, little a. What begins with A? Alligator. Big B, little b. What begins with B? Barber, baby, bubbles, and a bumblebee. Bumblebee. Big C, little c. What begins with C? Camel on the ceiling. Ceiling. Big D, little d. What begins with D? Donut and the ducky dog. Dog. Big E, little e. What begins with E? Ear, egg, elephant. Elephant. Big F, little f. What begins with F? 4 fluffy feathers on the feathers. Feathers. Big G, little g. What begins with G? Goat and goo goggles. Goggles. Big H, little h. What begins with H? Hungry horse, hen and hat. Hat. Big I, little I. What begins with I? Itchabod. Itchy. Big J, little j. What begins with J? Jerry Jordan's jelly jar. Jar. Big K, little k. What begins with K? Kangaroo and kite. Kite. Big L, little l. What begins with L? Lion with a lollipop. Lollipop. Big M, little m. What begins with M? Mice in the moonlight. Mice. Big N, little n. What begins with those? New neckties. Nightshirts, nose. Nose. Big O, little o. What begins with O? Ostrich oil, orange owl. Owl. Big P, little p. What begins with P? Painting some pajamas pink. Pink. Big Q, little q. What begins with Q? That quick queen of Quincy. And the quacking quackers. Queen. Big R, little r. What begins with R? Rosie's red rhinoceros. Rhinoceros. Big S, little s. What begins with S? Sammy's sipping soda pop. Soda. Big T, little t. What begins with T? 10 tired turtles on a tuttle tree. Tree. Big U, little u. What begins with U? Uncle Ub's umbrella and his underwear too. Underwear. Big V, little v. What begins with V? Very Violet Vin and her violet violin. Violin. Big W, little w. What begins with W? Willie's in the wash tub, washing Waldo Woo. Washing. Big X, little x. What begins with X? X-ray and a xylophone. Xylophone. Big Y, little y. What begins with Y? A yawning yellow yak with Yolanda on his back. Why? Yellow. Big Z, little z. What begins with Z? A zipper, zazzer, zoos. And as you can plainly see. The end. I hope you enjoyed that and have a great Dr. Seuss Read Across America Day.